People fear that which they cannot comprehend. Not just children, adults as well. They fear demons, witches, and curses, anything impure or not of this world. But I had long since gotten used to being viewed as such. It didn't sadden me, it didn't disappoint me, it didn't pain me. Some things were too foolish to concern yourself over. Though it certainly doesn't make me feel good either. I was, on some level, annoyed. That woman's appearance at the mansion had created ripples in my once tranquil life. So before I got into the real reason for my visit, I decided to take out a bit of my frustration. Raise your head. There's no need to be afraid. I don't know what you've been told, but I promise I don't bite.
How rude of me. You're right, my sincerest apologies.
Your job is to keep watch over me. If the mere sight of me has you trembling, what will you do if I try to run? I would have little trouble escaping.
That would be quite unfortunate. What would I ever tell your mother?
I'm not sure that would end well at all. You could lose everything you've been paid so far. In fact, you might be lucky to get out with your life.
Surely your mother would not.
You are aware of who you're dealing with, right?
Ah,
Michelle, the cursed youngest son of the Bullinger family, who made a pact with the devil. I don't need a blade to take your life. You wouldn't even make it back to report anything.
have mercy, Lord Michel. Please do not leave the mansion. Please spare me.
Only joking.
What?
Oh, Michelle, you joker. I don't have the power to kill by way of curse. The man fell silent, but the look on his face said, You are cursed, though, aren't you? Once someone's got an idea planted in their head, it's nigh impossible to get rid of it. I am so cursed that anyone can see it. That I need to be locked away in a dark mansion. I am here because I had a question for you, not to warn you that I plan to run away.
A question? A question for me?
Yes. Approximately 3 weeks ago, a black-haired woman came to the mansion. Tell me what you know about her.
I was told there would be an Abigail coming, but that's all. I don't know anything else about her. I swear that's all I know. Haven't been told anything else.
I believe you. I never thought they would tell you anything.
Right.
He had been hired to observe me, but that's all he was, a hired hand. He wouldn't be privy to the Bollinger family's internal affairs. Take this.
A letter?
I need you to deliver it to my mother.
You could have just left it in the box from this month's package, and I could have collected it when I dropped off the next one.
I am in urgent need of information. Will you do this for me?
Yes, why, yes, absolutely. I'll fetch a delivery boy tomorrow morning.
Much appreciated. Good night.
You too. Do take care. Lord Michel,
Yes?
is it true that you don't have...
Would you like me to sew your mouth shut so you can never open it again?
Not at all. My sincerest apologies, Lord Michel. That was horribly disrespectful. Good night.
Ah, cursed, I most certainly am. What?
I think... I think I know what that was about.
My mother's response arrived just 10 days later. The delivery boy must have pushed his horse quite hard. It was almost exactly a month after Giselle had moved in. And shortly thereafter, on a bone-chilling night, everything came crashing down. The rifts between us grew deeper, and the wall between us impossibly high. When I lay bare the scars in her chest, and mercilessly plunged my knife into them. What the hell?
How did we even get to this point? Ugh, I hate everything. My spirits were getting darker and darker, like they were slowly sinking into a deep morass. I had been at the mansion for a month, and every day since felt twice as long as it should have. I had been optimistic at first. I had even had a little hope that me and Michelle could get along together. But it hadn't taken long for that hope to be shattered, and the cheer locked away inside me. We lived in the same house, but we never spoke anymore. On the few occasions we did cross paths, he just gave me a cold glare and nothing more. Scorn and suspicion in his eyes. Whenever he looked at me like that, it felt as though my throat was being constricted, like I was deep underwater and running out of air. Like my very presence in the world was a crime. I never could have imagined just how agonizing constant rejection was. I started despising others, despising myself, despising the world, convinced there was no one who could set me free. I considered running away from everything, rather than living like this another day. But I would have done but I would have done so long ago if that were actually an option. If they found out I had fled, that I had acted outside their wishes, my mom and sister would pay. I had succeeded in allowing my sister to get married and my mom to live comfortably. I had given them happiness. I couldn't take that away from them again. Not after what I had to go through to do it. No, cut that out. Getting way too depressing, Giselle. Pull yourself together. That's not who you are. Did she, maybe... Because we have to wonder, if she did something so horrible, why are they still, supporting her family, and why didn't they just throw her out? So it's
Right.
gotta be something that they don't want anyone else to know. So, maybe did she sleep with someone? Did she sleep with, the head of
That's
the
what I was thinking. Maybe that's why I thought it happened in the first chapter, cuz I was like, well, if
Ah,
that was brought up then, maybe she did that here.
okay.
But did he's mentioned his dad, right? Yeah.
He mentioned his father once, and it was in a very worrisome line that I don't. It could easily be interpreted as he has a better relationship with his father or worse, because he said something like, "If my father knew I was here, dot dot dot."
Right. So it's like, well, if she slept with his dad, maybe his dad it doesn't live with his mother. Or I don't know. It's too complicated.
Yeah. The negativity didn't only come from my interactions with Michelle either. No, there seemed to be some kind of terrible presence within the mansion that twisted people's hearts. The mansion was, in fact, a bit of a local legend, which I had been informed about before being sent here. People claimed it was cursed and that an evil witch had lived in it for many, many years. Michel joked that he was the witch, but I didn't believe him. I'm not usually one to believe in magic or curses at all, but being here so long, I can't help but wonder. Anyway, things can't go on like this. If I was to remain in this house, the situation needed to improve a lot. I was going to lose my mind if things kept up as they were. I was ready to give up once, but I'm going to try closing the distance between us again. If I could get him to open up even the tiniest bit, then maybe that would make living here a little easier. I wasn't going to try to make us best friends or anything. Just repair our relationship enough that being around each other wasn't torturous. I've got my work cut out for me. How do I even begin that conversation? Heck, what is that conversation even going to be about? Maybe I should hold off, do it another day. No. I've made up my mind to do this, so I should get it done quickly. The longer I wait, the worse things are going to get. And eventually, there won't be any fixing anything. We need to talk. We need to be in the same room for more than 10 seconds. We need to get to know each other. He needs to know that he's not the reason I have something to hide. Okay, let's do this. I made my way to Michelle's chambers, which he had told me to stay away from. My stride was slow and ponderous, but at the very least I did my best to keep some semblance of a smile on my face. This is the one time where I'd really like to have someone to give me a little nudge. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Pardon, Master. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. Master? I guess he's not here. The door wasn't locked. Oh boy. Oh boy. As was the rest of the house, his room was shrouded in darkness. The only light came from the candle in my hand. Master! Are you there, Master? I guess I missed him. It's probably best if I don't stick around for long. He already got a less than stellar impression of me. I don't want to imagine what will happen if he thinks I've been snooping through his room. Yeah, I should get out of here. I spun around on my heels, taking a step toward the door, when I caught sight of an object draped in the black sheet. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, but I was intrigued by that object. Something he kept hiding in a room I was forbidden to enter. Oh no. Maybe it was a clue to discover Michelle's secrets. I reached my hand down toward the object, knowing good and well I shouldn't.
Girl, don't do it.
Was it because I wanted to learn more about him? Was it because I wanted to tear down the veil he had hid behind? Or was it the whispers of the witch?
She's saying don't do it.
What do we have here? I pulled off the sheet, revealing a framed painting of what appeared to be a noble woman with porcelain white skin. What stood out about her, though, was that the woman's hair was as pale as her skin. And then, what? I noticed something else. Wide gashes ravaged the canvas. damaging her face beyond repair. What the? I imagined it had once been a painting of a beautiful woman, but there was hardly a trace of that left. The only feeling it inspired anymore was a deep chill. This damage was not accidental. It was deliberate, angry, and the contempt emanating from within the frame was stifling. Thick, suffocating blackness seeped into me. Why would anyone? She was surely a most beautiful woman. Angelic, even. A storm of questions assaulted me. Who was she? Why had her face been carved up? Why had the painting been covered? What had happened? Who could have... There's only one person who could have done this. Michelle. Why on earth?
You saw it, didn't you? You saw the painting, didn't you? You entered my room without permission, and you saw the painting, didn't you? Angelic, you say? There's nothing angelic about that damned woman.
I scrambled to make some excuse, but nothing would come out of my mouth. All I could do was tremble.
Holy shit! Why did you enter my chambers? What were you looking for? Answer me. Is she getting stabbed or is she just scared?
I think she's just scared. My mouth wouldn't move properly. I couldn't make my voice out. It was like I wasn't even in my own body anymore. The wisps of air that were drawn into my lungs were expelled as hoarse gasps. My breaths were shallow and rapid. I was inhaling, but I wasn't getting any air. I was terrified. 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 Of his eyes, of his voice, of his feelings, of the knife he was holding up to me, of the terrible past I was chained to. The man's voice, the man's very flesh, terrified me.
What were you trying to find, and what were you planning to do with it? Answer me. Another thing you refuse to tell me, then?
No, I'm trying. Nothing's coming out of my mouth, though. Everything's so bright, and I can't catch my breath. I can't breathe.
That's fine, though. You don't have to tell me. I have a pretty good idea.
An idea? What do you mean?
Money is what brought you to the Bollinger estate. And it's what brought you to me, too. There are countless people who would love to see that house fall. And a noble family fears nothing more than wow! Nothing more than disrepute. Why is that so hard? You were, I presume, approached by someone scheming the Bollinger's downfall.
No.
And as it just so happens, the Bollingers have a very unfortunate secret, one they are quite desperate to keep under wraps. Me. Someone suspected I might still be alive, so they sent you to dig up information about me. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed young son of the Bollinger family. Michelle, who made a pact with the devil. Who is supposed to be dead, but is very much alive. You sweet-talked your way into that house and into information about me and my present situation. And you meant to trade that information for money. I bet whoever it was put quite a handsome price on it, too. Or maybe the one plotting to ruin the Bullinger family is you.
No! That's not true.
Then enlighten me.
Please, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way.
Then tell me. If that's not the reason you wormed your way into the Bullinger estate, and that's not what you're doing here, then tell me what is. Tell me why you came to this mansion.
You want me to tell you about that? No way, that's asking way too much.
Tell me.
I swear I haven't done anything to wrong you. I simply wanted to make our life together a little more comfortable. To bring some warmth to this frigid relationship we have. That's the only reason I wanted to find out more about you.
I must assume I'm right then, Giselle.
I must tell him he's wrong. I must tell him I mean no harm. Yeah, if it wasn't...
Then it wouldn't be a mistake on her part. Well, I guess they would pin the blame on her anyway.
Yeah. But I can't say anything.
A merchant's daughter became an abigail at a noble house? Could you come up with a more obvious lie?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Your father's the one who... Wait. How does he know that I'm from a merchant family?
You look perplexed. I may be imprisoned in this house, not free to move about as I please. But I have my ways. I know everything.
Everything? Then he knows about that too.
Oh yes, I do know.
Please, don't.
In your quest for money.
Don't say it!
You slept with my father.
In that
We were on the right track.
Michel plunged his knife into my heart. He carved through my chest with those words, causing me to completely lose control of myself. In a panicked frenzy, and probably screaming all the way, I knocked the man aside, and ran, and ran, and ran. I could hear a clap of thunder in the distance. Oh, how I wished a bolt of lightning would come crashing down upon me. Maybe if God burned my tainted flesh with a divine thunderbolt, he would get rid of some of the filth. But the jagged streaks of light cascading across the dark clouds did not strike me, only created restless grumbles in the sky. Why? I knew that if I fled that mansion, I would likely be causing trouble for my mom and sister. But I was helpless to stop myself. All I could do was run from all that threatened me with no regard for the consequences. Before long, small droplets of rain began falling, which soon grew heavy enough to penetrate the forest canopy and reach the ground where I stood. The downpour drowned out my tears and my cries. Because I had rushed from the mansion without even putting on a cloak, each cold winter droplet stung bitterly against my flesh. But the bite of the rain was like a warm embrace compared to what I'd been through before. Michelle had spoken the truth, and as much as wanted to deny it, to avert my eyes, reality was forever engraved in this body. No, no, I don't want to think about it. But I had no say in the matter. Get out of my head!
Why does it say the white-haired girl?
And
I don't want to know. I don't want to read this scene.
yeah, well, we will go ahead and end this stream right now. This was actually something I had asked about on my plurk since I had read the content warnings for this game since, you know, as a streamer and Let's Players, I think it's my duty to warn the audience about things that might come up. And I had asked people how graphic this got, and no one answered me, which worried me a
Oh,
lot. So, Warm, if you are in the channel still, could you please let us know if this gets super graphic? Like
because if it does, I don't want to read it.
in the warnings, it said like it didn't, and it focused more on sort of like the fallout and how the character felt. But I want a second opinion at least. Okay. All
He
right.
describes some things. Well, as long as it doesn't go into too much detail.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for answering. Either way,
Yeah.
it is 10:30, so this will be the end of the stream for right now. Um,
Oh, okay. Thanks to
yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think if maybe we should just record this off or just we'll just give a lot of warnings when we start next time.
Yeah.
All right. But they don't go into huge details, you get the picture. Okay. I think that'll be fine then.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
should. We should be okay then.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. This Saturday, we will be doing a long stream again for Extra Life. So, as always, hope you have a good night or day.
Yeah.
Here we go onto the helicopter.
Oh,
Good.
fuck. Okay, be cool. Just
Thi-
be cool.
This seems safe.
Here we go. Just a little hop, and you're there.
Good idea. Don't move so much inside the hanging helicopter.
I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go.
Heli.
Are you ready?
I am not.
Totally.